The more you give, the more you get back. This is one of those things that's taken me years to understand, and when I heard a saying, which is, when you do more than you're paid for, you'll be paid for more than you do. That's when it finally clicked for me. And I hope that it can help you understand this law as well. Because this is the law of reciprocity, which I don't think is talked about often enough, but it's universal. It works for everything. The more you give something, whatever that might be, energy, time, effort, patience, the more you get back. And it works for everything. Because again, it's universal. Think of it this way. The more time you put into the gym, the more results you'll get. The more you invest in cheeseburgers, the more cheeseburger you become. So it goes both ways. It's not only working for good things, but it also works for bad things. And this is why I think that we need to be more aware of this and more cautious of it as well. Because you can think of life as an investment bank, and whatever it is that we pour our money or effort or anything really into, the more we get back of that. So the more you put into a good thing, the more good you get back. But the more you put into a bad thing, the more bad you get back. And it even works for thoughts. Because, again, this is also one of those things that's taken me so many years to comprehend. But once I finally did, it was magical. But the more positive that you think, the more positive thoughts you'll have. The more negative thoughts you think, the more negative thoughts you'll have. So it's like literally universal. What you give will come back, but multiplied. So if you focus on good, you get good. If you focus on bad, you get bad, right? Does that make sense? Think about it for a minute and imagine that you and your best friend both want to make progress in the gym, right? So you both go and you invest your time into the gym. But you spend an extra hour every week, for an example, in the gym. Who do you think is going to have better results at the end? You will, because you put in more. You invested more into that discipline. Whereas your friend who didn't invest as much won't see as much results. Now, obviously, there's levels to this, and you can start to think about intensity and whatnot, but let's not get into that. Let's just think of it as a one-to-one. Every hour you spend, your friend does the exact same thing. You'll get more because you put more in, right? But let's now imagine a different scenario where maybe it's not as clear what's happening. Let's look at it from the place that you work at. Because while you have the same amount of hours in a day, you can spend those hours very differently. If you, for an example, put a little more effort in every day, you will get better results. You'll learn more. You'll have more experience. If you just ask an extra question or take an extra phone call, you'll see more results than the person who didn't. And so, in the short term, it may not seem like a lot, but just the more you give to something, the more you'll get back. And this is why I think that the doing more than you're paid for will get you paid for more than you do is so powerful. Because again, that extra phone call, that little bit of extra effort, it may not seem like a lot. It may not seem like this is gonna pay off in the end. But over the course of a year, look at you compared to the person who didn't do that extra phone call. You've now taken 365 extra calls in a year, for an example. Like, let's just say that. Who do you think is going to have more pay? Who do you think is going to be able to negotiate their pay better? The guy with the more experience, obviously. So when you look at it from a longer time frame, that's when this principle really starts to show why it works. Because if you give more in the short term, even if it's not a lot, but just a little more right now, over time, the difference between the version of you who did that and the version of you who didn't is going to start to increase. The difference is going to be bigger because you're going to get better over time, have more experience, know more, talk better, be a better person in general. But the same also goes for your negative habits, for those things that you don't think makes a big difference, but that actually do. Say, for an example, you love watching Netflix. Just watching one more episode today doesn't seem like that big of a deal. But then you do it again tomorrow, and then you do it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And those 20, 30, 40 hour, it stacks up. Because that's time that you could spend sleeping, or reading a book, or working on your thing. And imagine if instead of spending those 20 minutes on Netflix, you spend it working towards your thing. Do you see how powerful that becomes? Over a year, that could be hours, days, weeks, almost. Like, that's how much further ahead you would get compared to the version of you who spent it on Netflix. So the more you get, or God, the more you give, the more you get. And it goes for everything. So ask yourself, what do you want to get? And in return, what do you have to give? Where do you want to give? Where do you want to invest? Because that's in reality what this is. It's an investment bank. And the question's just, where do you want to invest your time, money, energy? And in return, what are you going to get for that investment? So ask yourself that question and see, would you keep your life the same way, or would you change anything at all? Because I sure know that I would. I would change a lot of things, but anyway. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.